Now we'll look at display rules for presentation drawings. First with reference files for an example of creating section or elevations for presentations. We'll look at the wildcard and the different options that you have of attaching models that are referenced either by their file name, model name, descriptions, or logical names. So in a site like this, I got to thinking now we can do a wildcard for an entire discipline for creating rules. I could create, if I could get a hook into each building, then I could apply rules to it, because maybe I want my sections or elevations to be having, for the buildings that are further back, to be transparent versus ones that are in the middle ground to be gray. So we can do this with display rules. And the way we can do it is I'm doing my section cut for my 4 buildings, and I'll be showing 2 things. I'll be showing the 4 different ways to be attaching these buildings as references to apply the rule, and then how to be doing the overrides for the symbology. So I'm going to go in and I've created a forward-south building zone forward view and a south side elevation. So with this workflow, I'd have to make it a different view and rule for each side of the site, but I think once you have it set up, it's easily just to go around and copy, rename the views and the rules to achieve the output. So for the rule for the main building number 1, I did create it as a group, and I grabbed it by its file name, which was using the like AA star for the reference file name. I put no actions on it or overrides because that's closer to my site section cut. I just want to take the default. For building 2, that one I want to have an override along with building 3 because that's in the middle area, and I grabbed that building by its reference description. So I make it light building 02 asterisk, so I was able to grab that one. Then building 3, which is the small dumpster enclosure, I was able to grab that by its logical name, 03 star, to be applying the rule that was similar to building 02. And then for the station, building 4, I added a different color and transparency for that one and grabbed that by the model file name, which was final, from our other training data set that had the words final in the model name of when you attach it as a reference. So those are the 4 different methods of using references. So you should be able to come up with a concept. Many of you work with multiple buildings that you don't have to rename. Hopefully you have building numbers in your file names, but there are other ways to be grabbing the models. So what I'm going to do now is create a section on the east side. So it will be pointing to the left, and so building 2 and building 4 will be zone 1, building 3 will be zone 2, and building 1 will be zone 3. So it's just a way of changing the symbology as you go through. So the process would be going to, copy the south display style for the forward view of just doing a quick copy, changing it to east, and then going to the rule and taking the south, copying it to east. But you are going to have to be changing, the symbology based on those. There's actually 3 different ones because 2 of them are the same. But you see how quick it is just to go in and be making a new rule. Then you need that copy, edit, new rule, copy it to the forward east and have that linked together. And then go into the rule for the east side, and that's when you're going to go in and start changing. So the station model and building 2 will have no overrides on them. Building 1 will have the overrides of the symbology. So I think you get the idea. You're just going to go make it so that it will quickly change when you go to create it. And then the output that you're going to get is having this section from the east looking towards it, that you're getting that more of a depth. You could be turning the geometry maps, that's the patterns for the brick and the block and the wood and things like that. I just put them on to show that it comes through. But I think it's a quick way to, in a site section, like a presentation drawing, to get the output by grabbing them by the references for buildings. And then back on the front view, you're able to have on the far right on building number 2, I used a different display style for an override. And also in the front view, you could go back into the drawing, and I added the display or not display to hide building number 2. So when it refreshed the drawing, the full station platform showed up. Now, of course, you could have turned off the reference file. That would have been an easier way to do it. Or you could have done a step in the section that I made to get around building number 2. But they're just showing some options that you have the control to be turning things on and off in these drawings through display rules, which I think is pretty cool.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.